reportedly had a deal on the table for the 13th overall pick, but decided to trade Alex Caruso instead for Josh Giddey. And while the Kings are interested in Zach LaVine, reportedly the Kings do want some form of compensation back from the Chicago Bulls if they were to solidify a deal. We're going to talk about it all and more on today's Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the shit. So, more details, and every time that something comes through, it gets a little bit more disappointing for Bulls fans, depending on how you view it. Now, I'm going to talk about things from both sides of it today. So, reportedly that the Sacramento Kings were close to Alex Caruso trade and offered the Bulls the 13th overall pick in this year's draft for Alex Caruso. Now, what I know, people are going to hear that draft compensation and they're going to love it and they're going to think, oh my God, it's so great. And don't get me wrong, it very well could have been. The Bulls, for example, could have gotten a Khalil Ware and Terrence Shannon Jr., right? Cody Williams and Donovan Clingan or something like that, right? No Zach Edey, because no Zach Edey's around here. But so so I get it that, the draft compensation, but like I said, Josh Giddey is better than most of the top five in this draft, at least right now with what you have to him. So, when it comes down to it, that the number 13th pick, the fact that the Kings were willing to move that for Alex Caruso, it says a lot about like kind of what the Bulls and how they evaluate Josh Giddey. Because to me, if you turn down an opportunity to draft somebody at number 13 and have 4 years of a rookie scale contract for Josh Giddey on 1 year of a rookie scale contract before you have to extend him, whether I agree with it or not, to me, that says that the Bulls look at Josh Giddey as an absolute get. Now, I know that's going to trigger some Bulls fans. Hell, it triggered me a little bit, right? But to me, that's just me reading the tea leaves. It doesn't mean that that's how the Bulls view it. Maybe they are looking more at it as an expiring contract or something. But to me, to have 4 years of a player on a rookie scale contract when you're clearly going in a different direction with your roster, and instead getting a player that has 3 years of experience, 1 year left on a rookie contract, and then you got to make the decision to extend them or let them walk or them revisit or go into restricted free agency next season. It tells me that right now that the Bulls value Josh Giddey more than draft compensation. So that adds some clarity onto why the Bulls weren't worried really about potentially getting a draft pick back for Alex Caruso. They view Josh Giddey as that much. And I would love to say that it's not going to bite them in the ass, but it's probably going to bite them in their ass. But, for Alex Caruso as well, we know that he had value. We know that the Bulls got offered multiple picks as well. So that shouldn't be too surprising. But it just kind of, in my mind, more though than complain about not getting the 13th pick, I want to talk about it from the point of that's where the Bulls mindset is. A.K. Eversley, Billy Donovan, somebody in that building believes heavily in who and what Josh Giddey can be. Now, hopefully that means that they're going to develop it, that they're going to put everything in place to develop it if you believe in him that much. Because I tell you what, if Josh Giddey has a big season for the Chicago Bulls, even if the Bulls don't win, if Josh Giddey has a statistical big season next year where he flirts with almost a triple-double like he did in his sophomore year, it's about to get extremely expensive for the Bulls to keep Josh Giddey. Extremely expensive. We're talking upwards of over $20 million. If Josh Giddey has another 14, 6-6 season, something like that. Shut up. What you doing? Come here. Stop barking. You know I'm streaming, babies. My babies. Don't kiss me. I'll fuck you up. I love you guys, though. All right, move. All right. But so it just tells me that the Bulls really do believe, hey, baby. They really do believe in what they think Josh Giddey can be. And that's a dangerous, dangerous thing to do it. And I see Witten saying, I'm convinced Josh Giddey was a Billy Donovan decision. You think everything's a Billy Donovan decision, bro. But so that's one thing. But now to hear that on top of this, more Kings news is that the Kings are interested in Zach LaVine, but because of the contract, they want compensation back to be incentivized to take Zach LaVine. Now, this is where I'm going to start calling bullshit because to me, if the Kings would have been trading for both Alex Caruso and Zach LaVine, you wouldn't have been looking for no goddamn compensation there. And while the Kings have the contracts to match, to me, the way that I read this, you guys know I'm always going to keep it honest with you. I feel like the Kings looked at the trade that the Bulls made and said, "Hey, those are some goddamn idiots." Yeah, no, give us some draft compensation back, and you guys could take Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes. That's literally what I feel that they're looking at it now. They're looking at it and said, Did they just trade? Did they just turn down the oh, what? Bet. Wait. Did AK call us today? Let me holler at AK. Wait a second. Hold on. Oh yeah, hey AK. Yeah. Nah, I'm not mad that you traded Alex Caruso to the OKC Thunder. No. Yeah, we can keep talking the Zach LaVine deal. Yeah, what you have in mind? Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter. Yep, that's what we talked about before. You want a protected first round pick in 2026? Here's the thing, player. AK. Yeah, so no, we're actually going to need you to give us a 2028 first round pick. Yeah, it can be protected. Yeah, top five. Yeah, but we need you to give us that to get Zach LaVine off your hands. Well, he's a $40 million contract. $40 million. Yeah. Hey, he thinks we don't know. He just traded Alex Caruso for. Yeah, he doesn't think we know. Yeah. We really feel like this is a real. We really feel like this is a real fair deal. Yeah, you're gonna get back to us. Okay, just let us know before draft day. All right, thanks, AK. That's how that conversation went. Can't nobody tell me any different that's not how that conversation went. That's exactly how it went. They're in their office laughing their ass off right now. You can't tell me they're not. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? What are we doing right now? It's crazy, man. It's wild when you break it all down, but that's where the Bulls sit at right now, man. And unfortunately, as I've been saying, and I've been trying to warn you guys, is that if Zach LaVine is traded, be prepared to hate the deal. That's all I'm saying. Like, be prepared to hate the deal. It's just be. By the way, this is my new favorite Jordan, not second favorite Jordan shirt. The black and red one's better. But you be prepared to hate the deal. And I think that's something that we got to come to a realization for, is that whatever happens with the Chicago Bulls, man, the Bulls have sold at a place of not being in control. And the chip that they had to pair with Zach LaVine that would have gotten them back would have been just because of that could have gotten you the most back. I'm not. TAB is what I'm going to call you, because you're not going to get a soundbite of me saying your username. Alex Caruso is good. Who said that Alex Caruso wasn't a good player? Alex Caruso is great. He's a great player. Great player. I love Alex Caruso for what he brought. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. So, it sucks where we are right now, man. It sucks where we are right now. And like I said, it's going to get ugly here. But today's news just clarified some things for me, is that the Bulls really, really, really value Josh Giddey. They got to. They have to. They have to value Josh Giddey. And so that's one thing. And then on top of that, I think because of the way that negotiation went down, when you hear things like, oh, there are more teams now interested in Zach LaVine. Yeah, there are more interested in Zach LaVine now because they think that the Bulls are front office are idiots. Now, maybe they turn out to be geniuses, but that's there. That's definitely there. So we'll see what that's going to bring. Rob says AK betting on Giddey. He's definitely betting on Giddey. Would we do a sign and trade with Pat if we can't do a sign and trade with Pat? Well, I guess we could. Restricted free agency is a little weird like that. We would have to do it, and he could not sign an offer sheet with another team if we're going to do it. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Do you think the Bulls give Giddey an extension this offseason? This offseason, I don't know. You know what? That's an interesting prospect, but I don't think that because Josh Giddey's probably going to be willing to bet on himself. His agent's probably telling him to bet on himself. Will Giddey even start for the Bulls? I don't think that that's a question personally. I would love to say that it's a question because I love the backcourt of Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White. But I think that with hearing what we heard and now feeling that the Bulls are very high on Josh Giddey, I think there's a high probability he starts. High probability he starts. It feels weird to be betting on a guard that can't shoot the three ball and can't defend. I'm not disputing you at all, brother. No, no arguments here. Will Zach LaVine get traded this offseason, homie? I still think it's a more high chance than not that he gets traded, but you just never know, bro. You never know. He will definitely start. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Giddey better turn the table and bring some major contributions. I mean, you got to look at it, right? Without SGA, Josh Giddey averages, like I said, it's like 14, 6, and 6, something like that. Let's see. Okay, so without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing with Josh Giddey averaged 19 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. That was this past season without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That was only 7 games. Let's go look at 2022-23. Let's take a look at 2022-23. So in 12 games the season before last, without SGA, Josh Giddey averaged 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. I'm telling you right now, if he gets anywhere close to that, being a Chicago Bull, he's getting at least an $18 to $20 million extension. $18 to $20 million extension. So, man, Bulls draft. I doubt it now that they've traded for Giddey. If they didn't trade for Giddey, I think there would have been a chance of that. Now with trading for Giddey, I don't know. Josh barely passes the eye test. Gawky, awkward kid, not versatile at all. I gotta disagree. I think he is versatile as far as he can play either guard position. But if you're talking about like some serious offensive versatility, no, he doesn't bring that at all. Not at all, brother. Ayo shot 31 from 3 2 years ago, then worked on with pattern and got over 40. Can he help Giddey or Dalen this year? I mean, it's a possibility now. I think it was the person who used to work with Peter Patton is the shooting coach over in OKC, but Peter Patton is a wizard. So they need to get him in Chicago now. He needs to start working now. I think you have to take a chance on him being 21. His passing is better than anyone in this draft. And when is the last time the Bulls had a legitimate triple-double threat? Facts. I won't even lie. I'm devastated on the Caruso trade, but it looks like he's happy going to OKC. Oh, yeah. He's definitely get to compete for a title. What's good, CEO? It's been a minute. What's good, Omar? Glad to have you in the building. Don't say it's a high possibility the draft Giddey starts in the season, bro. Remember, you thought Devin Carter, aka the ball-headed O. Yeah, but that's different. Completely different. I thought Javon Carter was going to start because he was a point guard that theoretically could defend and shoot the three. He wasn't a young player that's already shown an ability to start and be productive. Night and day. That's like when people would be like, well, since the Bulls beat the Kings and the Kings beat the Suns, that means that the Bulls can beat the Suns. That's not how that works, right? So no, it's not comparable. When you trade for a player and you prioritize that over draft compensation and they're on an expiring deal, you want to take every look at him that you could possibly get. I think there's a high probability he's going to start. You think they use a 3? Yeah, I mean, every team uses, like, no team just plays 2 guards. You always have a lead guard off your bench, and Ayo Dosunmu is probably going to be that lead guard, or it's going to be Josh Giddey. So we need big man, not guards. Hope we get Kyle. Kyle Filipowski's a nice pick. He's a nice pick. Yeah, Patton was under England. England? Brazil popular in the building. What do you think the starting lineups? I'm not going to do any starting lineup predictions yet when we don't even know exactly what the hell the roster is going to be. Because right now, just with the roster it's set right now, you got Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. That right there, trying to figure out a rotation with just those 5 players would be batshit ass crazy. Batshit ass crazy. That's not even factor in Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, who's still technically on the roster right now, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry. Somebody, if we were going off lineups right now, there's going to be a 6-7 player playing center for us at some point. I think Dallas calls Chicago for Vooch. I don't think so. You look at their center rotation, where's Vooch going to get in at? You got Derek Lively, you got Daniel Gafford down there. And those two guys, it's not like they played bad. You're not going to play Vooch at power forward. So I don't think that the Dallas Mavericks, unless they're willing, you willing to give up Daniel Gafford? Are you willing to give up Daniel Gafford? Because if you're willing to give up Daniel Gafford, by golly, we can work out a deal. But I doubt that. I doubt that. We're going to be awful. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough one. I do like Tay. I do like Memphis potentially being a home for sure. If Dallas is smart, they would stay away from Vooch. Would you have chosen Kevin Huerter over Josh? Nah. Here's the thing. If we were a team that I felt was still trying to compete for the playoffs, yes, I'd probably take Kevin Huerter over Josh Giddey because he's a player that brings in exactly what you need. But because in my mind the Bulls are going younger, I would say probably not in that case. Could we do a sign and trade for DeRozan? If so, who would be? Well, keep in mind, so sign and trades, the Bulls wouldn't have a decision on that. So it's not like the Bulls can say, hey, we want to sign and trade him to Philly. No, basically what it would mean is that there's a team that's already interested in DeMar DeRozan. Either they need to work out a sign and trade to create a little bit more cap space for them to sign him, or it's a team that's basically like, hey, Bulls, we're taking DeMar, but we got this player that we don't really want. Or maybe like whatever, we can create a little bit more cap so we can use our mid-level exception, but the Bulls don't have the power in that case. LaVine for Keldon Johnson and fillers. That's crazy. You think the Zach to Detroit sip shelled with Tony Weaver? I think so, but I mean, that's just coming from just my raw feelings. It's not like it's anything that I've heard or anything. By the way, big announcement. So we will be live here for the draft, as you guys already know. But after the Bulls selected number 11, you can catch me live with Shams over on Stadium. I'll be breaking down the Bulls pick with Shams for about 10 minutes, coming back over here live. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here, goddammit. There you guys go. There you go. Your boy breaking down the draft pick with Shams. I do this, man. Listen, I do this. Khalil Ware, you are a bull. I hope. Listen, I really hope that's the case. I would pray, hope, and wish that that's the case. I think the Grizzlies trade up to 6 with the Hornets and get Klingon, and the Bulls stay put at number 11 and trade LaVine to the Kings to get. Well, with what we hear today, I don't think the Bulls are getting number 13. Appreciate that. I'm going to continue pushing Khalil Ware propaganda until it happens. Hey, keep doing it. I would love Khalil Ware on this team. Khalil Ware has become my keep in mind, I came into this draft process. So coming into this draft process, it was Kyle Filipowski, Tyler Smith, as far as like the big men prospects. Kyle Filipowski, Tyler Smith, and then Khalil Ware probably somewhere in there. I think there was somebody else that I had above Khalil Ware. But then in watching his tape, watching the draft combine numbers, everything, it really changed a lot. So, it is what it is. Marvin, the motivator, is in the building. Says, what up, family? Here we go again. I guess we just have to sit back and see. I don't think many of us saw the Alex deal coming down the pipe. Agree with that. Marvin, where you been this season, brother? I definitely, I 100% would have guessed, and I would have heard from you after the Alex Caruso trade. The fact that we haven't gotten a Marvin the Motivator voicemail, we've gotten one this season, one Marvin voicemail this season. Where you been, bro? Where you been? Where you been? I no, Ryan Dunn is great, but the Bulls aren't going to draft him at number 11. Ryan Dunn is slated to go late first, beginning of the second. He's not going to go number 11 to the Bulls. There's little to no way that they're going to do that. A very special defender. Very special defender. Very special. But I don't think they're going to go that at number 11. No, because the motor concerns have gone away in private workouts. That's a big reason he's risen. If you go and listen to how teams have come away from private workouts with Khalil Ware, almost everybody said the motor concerns aren't really a thing that they worry about anymore. So yeah, so the Kings it's come out and said that the Kings in a Zach LaVine trade actually want draft compensation back. So I don't think the Bulls are going to get a number 13 pick. So don't think that that's going to happen. Would love to be wrong. Like, would love to be wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen. I saw a question. Reggie says, where are you on Terrence Shannon Jr.? I love Terrence Shannon Jr. as a prospect. Absolutely love him. His age is a bit of concern, especially in the draft where you may want to go younger. But Terrence Shannon Jr. has a very high floor to me. He's somebody that, and not even because he's from the city, but just because offensively he brings almost everything that you want. And if you do move on from DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine in the same offseason, Terrence Shannon Jr. can slide in there right away. And I think if you look at how to balance a starting lineup with like a Josh Giddey, Terrence Shannon Jr. could help with that tremendously. So My Burner. That's crazy. That's the name of your is My Burner. That's crazy. Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware's my pick. And that's why it's not going to happen. I'm going to let you guys know there's only been one time in my life that I picked the Bulls drafting the player right. No, I also did pick Wendell. I knew the Bulls were going to draft Wendell. I had Wendell on my board. But other than Wendell, see, every time I'm right, it's terrible for the Bulls. I knew for a fact the Bulls were drafting Tyrese Thomas. I knew for a fact. Had a hot NCAA tournament that year. We know we needed a 4. He was athletic as hell. He could get out and run. Go back and look. I think I was, 19 when that pick happened? I was sold on the fact that the Bulls were drafting Tyrese Thomas. I was telling everybody that the Bulls were drafting Tyrese Thomas. And look how that turned out. So the Bulls may not need to draft the person that I want them to draft, right? Because the times that I've nailed it have been Tyrese Thomas and Wendell Carter. And look how that worked out for us. Look how that worked out. What do you think about Zach Edey? No, I'm good on Zach Edey. Good on Zach Edey. If you had a second round pick from 30 to 41, who would the pick be? Probably Dunn if he's there. If Dunn's not there, who's somebody else I scouted in the second round? Give me a second. To 31. Trenton Flowers is somebody who definitely be on my board there. What's the other guy's name who has the weird cut? Jalen Tyson would definitely be on my board in that range. And probably PJ Hall. Those would probably be the guys that would be on my board there. SB Talk Sports in the building says, bro, we turned down a 13 pick for Josh Giddey. I rather took a first round pick for next year. I kind of talked about that at the beginning of the show, but I think that just means that this front office, not we, but the front office really believes in Josh Giddey for some reason. Tristan Da Silva is probably going to go before that. Tristan Da Silva has really risen up his draft stock. I think Tristan Da Silva is probably going to go. I think he can go as high to the Philadelphia 76ers. And the reason why I picked them there, the Philadelphia 76ers, is they are a team that's going to need some talent that can go right away. He can go as high as 16 to the Philadelphia 76ers. And then I do not think in any way that Tristan Da Silva makes it past the Knicks at number 24 and 25. He is the type of player that Tom Thibodeau would draft and play a lot of minutes. So those are the places that I think Tristan Da Silva is going to go. But all right, y'all. I just wanted to bring this update. Y'all may know, for those that have been in the channel around, during the offseason, like between the draft and free agency, not only do you get daily episodes, but I'll start giving nightly episodes as well. So you may start getting more of a vibe like this as we go forward, as the free agency goes through. But I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for being the best part of Chicago Bulls Central. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I would love to be able to get to 20,000 subscribers by the beginning of next season. We're at 18,317 now, so we need a little over 200 subscribers left to get there. And let's hope with 200. I can't count at all. 1,700 to get there. It's a tall order, but hey, we deliver some great content. Let's hope that we can get there, y'all. But guys, thank you so much for being the best part of Chicago Bulls Central. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullsCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so. If breaking news drops, I'll be back on live. But the number to do so for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And I love you guys. See red. Go Bulls, y'all.